Now I know this video is late in the making, but I really wanted to get it out there in hopes that you're able to pick up something from here and use it at your home. My name is Niketa from Indian Homeschoolers in US, and this video is actually a part of 3 videos where we are talking about October read alouds and October books. So actually there is a famous saying, tell me and I will forget, teach me and I may remember, involve me and I will learn. Keeping that in mind, I thought it'd be more fun if we not only read the books, but we also do some activities that go along with these books. So these are activities where we are doing a lot of science experiments, where we are doing some crafts, and a game is also involved. So hang on tight. I have a whole lot of books to cover and 3 videos to cover them in. So let's get started. The first book I wanted to share with you is a biography about Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi. Mahatma Gandhi, his birthday was on October 2nd, and so I thought it's a great place to start. So here it is. I have a few books about Mahatma Gandhi over here, but there are a whole lot of other books in the market that you can look into. I just wanted to share some of those, some of the books that I have. Now this one is called Gandhi. It's DK Life Stories Gandhi. And it's a good book. It's a great book. It covers right from birth all the way to the end. And what I like is they have a lot of real life pictures about Gandhiji, and also they have the family tree very nicely done. They have a timeline from birth all the way again to the end, and all the things that happened in between. So this is a good way to first read the story and revise over the timeline. This is a good book. I think this is a little bit deeper for younger kids. Even if they can read it, I'm not sure if they would comprehend everything. So this is one. Then Gandhi, so this would be about 4th to 5th. They can do independent reading, and a great book to study as well. This one, Gandhi by Pratima Mitchell, it's a part of What's Their Story. This is a good book. It's much lighter. It's in story format too, and it has pictures on all the pages. So might be a little bit easier read and more fun, I guess, to read. So these are 2 books. The third one is, if you're an Indian, I'm sure you know about Amar Chitra Katha. So the third one is by Amar Chitra Katha, and it's Mahatma Gandhi, The Early Days. And this is also a great book. I mean, we as a family love Amar Chitra Katha, and if you don't know, all Amar Chitra Katha books are comics, are in comic format. So, it's fun for kids to read. So these are the 3 books that talk about Gandhiji's life, and there are a lot more. There is a Who Was book also by about Gandhiji, Mahatma Gandhi. And another book that I want to bring attention to is called Gandhi, A March to the Sea. Now, this book does not talk about his life, but it talks about a particular movement that he was very famous for. This book talks about the Dandi March, the Satyagraha March. And it's a wonderfully done book. Dandi March, the Salt March, if you don't know, was a march that that Gandhiji started from. He led thousands of people over 240 miles journey on foot to the ocean to oppose the salt taxes that the British had imposed. Salt is a basic commodity, and British had imposed taxes on this basic commodity. To oppose it, Gandhiji led thousands of people to the ocean, and for which he and about 60,000 people were imprisoned. So this book covers it. What I also like about it, it's very easy read. The whole thing about Salt March is in poem format, and there are it's a lot of pictures, not too much reading, a lot of pictures. So, I would definitely take a look. I got this from our library, and I'm sure maybe your library carries it too. So this is a great book, Gandhi, A March to the Sea. And the activity that I have planned for Gandhiji is connected with this book. I'm sure kids are curious. How do they get the salt from the ocean? Why did Gandhiji go to the ocean? What's that got to do with the Salt March? There is an experiment that I'm going to put on for you guys to do at home and teach them how salt is mined, harvested from the sea. So take a look. For this experiment, you're going to need a glass of water, some sand if you have that, but if you don't, I'm using semolina or suji. just a little bit, and then some salt, regular salt, a spoon to stir with, a muslin cloth to strain with, and a vessel that we are going to boil in. So to begin the experiment, just take the glass of water and I'm adding the semolina to it. So this is representing sand. So once I've added, I'm also going to add salt because you know seawater is salty, and this is what the whole experiment is about: how to separate the salt from seawater. And I'm going to add this to the glass, and then I stir it. Next, I'm going to take the muslin cloth and I'm going to put it on the vessel like this, like so. And then, actually, you know what? Strain the glass of water, because that's what they do. They first clean the water as much as they can, so that all the impurities, all the sand and other particles, they come out. And in our case, of course, it was easy, you know, semolina is not as fine, so I separated that. And now we are going to boil this. I put it on the gas and I'm turning it on. I'm going to keep it on low and let it be for a little while till it starts evaporating. Now it's been a little over 30 minutes and this is where we are. We can already see some salt. It's been about an hour and the water has all evaporated. So now all we're left with is the salt. I'm going to take it out in a container and show it to you guys in the same container that we started with. Here you go, guys. This is the salt that I was able to scrape, and I'd say this is about the same amount that we almost the same amount that we put in. I think this experiment was a success. I hope you guys liked that experiment and try it at home. It's going to be a lot of fun. And you know, if you live by the ocean, more power to you. We do too, but it's too cold to go out to the ocean to get you know, sand. Now the second book that I wanted to share with you guys is about an animal. It's an animal book, and the animal is a bear. Now you might be wondering, what's bear got to do with October? What's you know, but hear me out. In Katmai National Park in Alaska, US, there is a competition every year around this time, September end to October sometimes, where they vote for the fattest bear. Yes, the competition is exactly how the name sounds. The fattest bear wins the competition. So this is a big competition. There were about 800,000 votes this year, and the winner was a bear called Otis. Now, you know, the bears put on a whole lot of weight because they're preparing to go under hibernation. So, you know, so fatter you are, healthier you are, your survival rate is higher. So this is, I want to share a picture of Otis before he started preparing for hibernation. And this is a picture of Otis when in October, he's all set for going under hibernation. Amazing, isn't it? They put on about 1,000 pounds of weight to prepare for hibernation. So, you know, in connection with hibernation, I have a video out over here and I'm going to play that. But before that, I wanted to share some books that you can read and help the kids understand about hibernation. And then we can, I'll put on the video for you guys, okay? So this is a book called Bears. It's a very, you know, almost like a read aloud. It's a like pre-K, sort of pre-K, kindergarten level book, and it talks about different kinds of bears. There's polar bear, brown bear, black bear, and the differences. It's a nice, easy book. Then there is this one that it's really sweet. The Adventures of Baby Bear. This is really cute. The story follows these three baby bears. Oh my. Yeah, the story follows these three baby bears. It's a really cute book. I mean, kids will love it. So this is one, but they also talk. So it's almost like a real life movie of the bears. It's not super adventurous. It's just something really cute, and kids learn about how bears go through life, the little ones. And this one is more apt for the Fat Bear Week. It's called "A Den is a Bed for a Bear." So this talks about hibernation and how the bears prepare for hibernation. So this is very cute. As an added activity, you can also get books like this. Now I have this DK Encyclopedia of Animals. So if you don't want to get, so many books, maybe you can put on some video and you can get some serious books like this, some encyclopedias. And so this one in particular has, it talks about bears, and it's more, serious book, more sciencey stuff about bears and bear claws and how they survive, what they eat, that kind of a thing. So of course this covers a whole lot of animals, so it's good one time buy. So that's that. Now without further ado, I want to put on the video about bears, and we are talking about hibernation. So the video is about hibernation, on how getting so fat helps the animals, helps the bears. For this experiment, you're going to need a container, and I fill it up with water, some ice cubes, butter or any form of fat, and then a Ziploc, which is optional. So what we're going to do is I'm going to add the cubes to the water to make it cold. If you're using cold water, that's good too, that's fine too. So what this is doing is we're just replicating the temperature when the animals go into hibernation. And the purpose of this experiment is to show how eating all that food helps the animals. So I have fat here, I have butter here, and I'm going to put this on one of my hands. I'm going to just put it on one hand only. Now, if you're doing it with kids, I think what you can do is just make sure that the water is not too cold, or you can put their hands in Ziplocs so they'll be protected. Now you put both the hands in the ice water and ask them which hand is colder. And of course, this hand is colder because the fat around that we put on this hand, it provides a little excess heat to the hand. That's what happens when animals are hibernating. The excess fat provides heat to the organs, the brain and the heart, so it protects it. Of course, it also serves as food supply for the months that they are hibernating. It also sends out a signal to the brain that it is time to wake up from hibernation, when it is time to wake up from the hibernation. So this is a fun experiment to try out with the kids, and do try it. Now, between us, I want to be a bear in my next life. Isn't it cool? You can eat as much as you want. You can put on as much weight as you want. You don't have to worry about calorie intake. Eat till your heart's full, your belly's full. No worrying about anything, how you're looking, because all you have to do is go to bed then. You go to bed, have a nice long rest, no chores, no nothing, and then come out looking nice and dandy. I do believe these scientists and fat loss gurus and whatnot, they have to study these bears, because they certainly know something that we don't. What do you guys think? The third book that I wanted to share with you guys is about pumpkins. You cannot talk about October without talking about pumpkin books. Now, if you live in US, you know what I mean. You cannot step out of the house without bumping into pumpkins. They are everywhere. And by everywhere, I mean everywhere in October in US. So, definitely you want to cover something about pumpkins. And there are a whole lot of books available in the market, in the library about pumpkins. Just pick any. It should be fine. Just pick any. I want to play this small experiment that you can do with pumpkins, and that explains about fall fruits. So take a look. This is a very simple activity that you can do with the kids. All you really need is a big container filled with water, a pumpkin, and a carrot. Now, first thing I would do is I would let the kids hold the pumpkin and ask them, is it heavy or is it light? What do you guys think? And how about the carrot? Is it heavy? Is it heavier than the pumpkin or lighter than the pumpkin? Now, needless to say, it's lighter than the pumpkin. Now, next thing I would ask them, if I put the carrot in the water, will it float or sink? And how about the pumpkin? If we put it in the water, will it float or sink? And let them make a guess. Now, normally, since this is lighter, they might guess that it floats. But what does it do? It sinks. How about the pumpkin? What do you guys think? It floats right back up. As you can see, the carrot sinks and the pumpkin floats. Why is that? What if we cut the carrot in half? Will it sink? Or this time will it float? No, it still sinks. Why? The reason is density. The pumpkin is hollow inside. I know, I'm sure you've carved it and you know that the pumpkin is empty inside except for the seeds. So that's why it's less dense than the water it displaces. Whereas the carrot, it's denser, so it sinks at the bottom. As I said, this is a great way to get your kids guessing about which is the denser material. Isn't that good? It's a good way to show that density does not depend on the size of the product, but depends on the weight and how dense it is. So, do try it at home. The book that I do want to talk about, it's called It's Pumpkin Time. It's an easy read. It's more for, first grade, kindergarten, that kind of a thing. And it talks about life cycle of a pumpkin. So it starts from seed all the way to a plant to a pumpkin, back to a pumpkin. So, I have a life cycle activity that you can do with the kids, and take a look at this small video. This is a bit of a long-term activity. We are studying the life cycle of a pumpkin. For this activity, you're going to need a pumpkin, which my son carved, a clear bottle or a clear container like this. This is a juice bottle. A knife to cut the bottle, so I have already done that process, and then some water, soil, and packaging tape. So what we are going to do is, first we are going to put soil in this container. Then you just spritz it with some water. It should not be drenching, it just should be a little wet. Then you place your pumpkin in the container. So obviously you need a container that would fit the pumpkin. So choose a small pumpkin. Then you put the top back and put the top back, and you use the tape to tape it all around, and you let this be. You keep it on the windowsill where you get some sun, and you let it decompose. All we are observing is the life cycle of a pumpkin. I forgot to add, when we carve the pumpkin, we take out the seeds, but there will be no plant if there is no seed. So I did add the seeds back in there before I put it in here. So you put your pumpkin in there, and you put your top back, and you tape it all around so that it's secure and there is no airflow in there. And you put the tape around it, and make sure the lid is on as well. We are going to let the pumpkin decompose. I would say just keep it on the windowsill where the sun falls, and let it decompose. That it itself is an activity. Once it has decomposed and it's become all moldy, once it has completely disintegrated, you can cover it up with soil and again spray with water and let it grow. Maybe cover it up with a cling wrap and let the plant grow into let the seedling grow into a plant. So this is a fun activity. The kids can learn the whole science of how a pumpkin grows. I hope you guys like this activity. I know it's a bit of a long term, but it's a good way to learn the life cycle, and at least do it till they are grow into little seedlings or plants. So try it. I have a small request to make. If you use pumpkins to decorate your house, instead of throwing them in the garbage, and I'm telling you, so many pumpkins get wasted and get thrown in the garbage. Instead of throwing them in the garbage, just cut it open and put it outside for the animals to eat. The deers and the squirrels and the other animals, they would love to eat it. You can even share the seeds with the birds. Collectively, we can, prevent all this wastage of food. So I hope you like this video, and you try out some of these activities. Do look into some of these books. I'm going to put the links down below in the description box, and give me a thumbs up if you like the video, and do subscribe. Remember, part 2 and part 3 of this video series would be coming soon, so keep an eye out for those. And happy reading and happy homeschooling, you guys.